Welcome to episode 8 of the Lyrical Breakdown. My name is Sia. Welcome to my series where I talk about the lyrics I've written and the backstories behind them and explain them for you. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in so far for the series. In episode 8 already. That's crazy. I know the last time I posted we were on episode 7 and I wasn't sure if it was 7 or 8, but now I know for sure. Today is episode 8. So Down happens to be one of the songs that I spoke about earlier on in the series where the studio recording element of it was a bit messy. And we'd initially recorded Tone Tapestries holistically as a project that we were going to relook at and re-record and touch up and polish later, which we did do, mind you, but I didn't re-record anything. I liked sort of the elements of corruption and interruptions and the tearing apart of the perfection, because it spoke to the theme of the album overall for me, because it's quite a pretty album in terms of the sonics and the way I sing, and some of the songs are really hard, and Down is one of my favorites because it's on the darker side of the album for me, because I feel like Tone Tapestries straddles dark and light or walks between dark and light, and like Down is one of my favorite songs because it's dark and it sounds heavy and it sounds moody, and I like that about it. So when we recorded Down, we didn't record the entire song. I think, yes, it was the very first song we recorded long before we decided we were going to do an album, Dave and we did it like on a random Thursday night out in Baklu, where Dave was staying, and we recorded it in the room. So I had a mic, I didn't have earphones, so you can hear the click track at the beginning of the recording. At least the first verse is very clear where you can hear the click track. And Dave was like, I'm gonna take it out. I'm like, no, we are not re-recording, we are not redoing it, we are keeping it the same. So this is the backstory of Down. So, as much as I'm loath to do this, I have to talk about the inspiration. So tired of it. At this point, I really am exhausted of talking about He Must Not Be Named. But anyway, so as you know by now, that I went to the UK to make music with He Must Not Be Named, also known as Voldomizi, to me and my crew. So went out to make music with him initially before we became anything. And I had this chorus in my back pocket and it was just chilling. I didn't have anything for it. I didn't have any ideas for it. And then we went into studio and he gave me a song that had like a space where I could fit the chorus in, but I had no verses. So I went away and I wrote the verses for Down and came back to him with the verses and sang them. And melodically, he said they were great, but he hated them. Like hated, loathed, reviled. He detested those verses. And I was like, why so serious? Like, it's not a deep, bruh. I'm talking about people who are cheating on each other. So in the first verse, it speaks about a woman cheating on her man, whatever that is, whatever relationship level that is. And in verse 2, it is speaking about a husband cheating on his wife specifically. And in the first verse, it deals with the man's perspective of the cheating. And in the second verse, it deals with the wife's perspective of a husband cheating. So he absolutely hated it. And then he's just like, no, we're not going to use that. He wanted to keep the chorus. And later we had like a very drawn out, lengthy fight. Oof, it was exhausting. About him wanting to use my work in his, and he's just like, no, don't you dare. And I was just like, sir, I don't need your words. I don't need your melodies. I don't even need your music. Keep your stuff, take yours. Return what is mine to me. You do not have the right to use my voice or my lyrics or my melodies on any of your work. And it'd be like, he'd be very sort of, I don't know, is abrasive the right word? Like aggressively defensive. And I'm just like, I'm chill, bruh. Do what you want with your music. I don't need to use it. I'm going to make what I want to make. You do not have the right to use my words. You do not have the right to use my melodies. You do not have the right to use my voice thereafter. And I realized that, I think I did say this, but I realized then that all this man wanted was my voice. He just wanted this. And I was just like, no. And henceforth, I'm never ever going to date an artist, specifically a musician again. Anybody, DJ, producer, composer, yay, promoter, if you work in music, please stay away. I beg now, I beg. Okay, so this is how down goes. That was down. And this is the lyrical breakdown. of Down, produced and co-written by myself and Dave Marshall. So the first line goes, she found him alone with her secrets spread out on the floor, which speaks to her being exposed in some way. Some secret, something that she did not want him to know is currently exposed, and it's like all on the floor. So that's the first thing you notice, like when you walk into the room, I guess, when you look down, which speaks to down, I guess. So, and then I say, a suitcase packed in a car, seduction covered in black lace. So in my head, at the time, I used to think lace was very seductive. And I don't know if anybody wears full lace, but lace is one of those sexy materials, and it speaks to like, it gives you a glimpse to the person's skin, which, and certain things it should be covered that may not be, and a certain level of exposure that isn't there. So, and there's a seductiveness because it has a peekaboo sort of mystery quality to it, just like vibe, you know? So she's seductive and she's covered in black lace, so she's a very attractive woman. And like, yeah. Also, her secrets are also being exposed at the same time within the exposure and the laceness of it. So there's certain things that she doesn't care to hide anymore. Hence, she's packed the bag and she's leaving. And then I say, she told him 1,000 sorry. She said, I'm in love with who you are. Which is one of those bogus things I've heard people say to me and other people, that I love you, but what? What is the phrase? Something along the lines of, I love you, it's not you, it's me. Now what must I do with that, bruh? Like, let's have that conversation. Now what must I do with that? Then I say, she told him, I love you always, but that love was written in the stars. Which speaks to, again, and I've spoken about this before in the series, about how we tend to project futures onto partners and relationships, or just project onto people things that they are not and things that they are not willing to do. And it's natural. It may not necessarily be an unnatural thing, but I've been burned so badly by doing that I'm never doing that ever again. Within the context of a romantic relationship, or any relationship, because all of them, the only ones that haven't roasted me are my work ones. So all of them, friendships, relationships, family, I'm just like, woo, project nothing. Expect nothing, ask for nothing, do everything yourself. When you are really in a bind, you really in a bind, then you'll ask. Otherwise, not really. Next. So it speaks to that projection and that hope and that dream for the future that you had with said person completely disintegrating and shattering before your eyes. Then the chorus goes, we come down. And I repeat that. So I go, we come down, we come down, we come down. We come down, we come down, we come down. And I repeat that, and that just speaks to how everything is crashing. Everything that you hoped this was and where this was going, completely crumbling before you. And then verse 2 goes, she told him she found a stain of lipstick that she didn't use, which speaks to ma'am doing washing or the laundry for those who don't use the word washing, and encountering a stain of lipstick on perhaps this man's shirt. And then she's like, no man, I don't have this lipstick. Whose lipstick is this? This isn't my lipstick because I don't use this shade, for example. And then I say, she'd broken the wedding frame, their marriage just a silly ruse. So in all of the people who are married houses I've been to, whether they are an old couple or a young couple, there's a portrait of their wedding day somewhere in the house. So in the song I'm speaking about that being crashed, or that person or the woman crashing that on the floor, or completely breaking that because the marriage is broken. And then when I say their marriage just a silly ruse, so a ruse is a ploy or a game or something that isn't to be taken seriously. So it's like a wild goose chase, almost in a different context. But within context of the song, it's just like, this was all false. So it was silly. And yeah, I took it seriously and she shattered by it. And then again, I reiterate, he told her 1,000 sorries. He said, I'm in love with who you are. He told her, I love you always, but that love was written in the stars, which is sort of like yeah, you're claiming to love me, but like now what must I do with it? Because that love isn't till death do us part. It isn't till for as long as we both shall love. It's now. It's finished. It was finished before I knew it was finished. So that's devastating. And then I go back to the chorus and say we come down. So you come down, you come back from drifting on the cloud and floating in the utopia. Is utopia the right word? Or just the bliss of what your love was, of what you thought your love was, and then coming down to the earth and the hard reality that what you thought it was is not it. So yeah, that happens to be episode 8 of the lyrical breakdown by myself, where I talk about my lyrics in my songs. It's produced by myself and Dave Martian. So thank you once again for tuning into all 8 episodes. That's mad. Of the lyrical breakdown. There's a few more episodes within Tone Tapestries that I'd like to complete. And thank you for all of the suggestions you've given me so far. So please do share more when you have about like what you'd like me to talk about after Tone Tapestries because we're close. And I wish you all a wonderful week. Peace.